Hey guys, I'm Nito King and back for one last round of Space Quest 6. We're still tromping around inside Stellar's digestive system. We've gotten rid of the nanites down here, but there's a giant tapeworm down below and we've got to go back and find a way to deal with it. Of course, I skipped this passage the first time through. This is where we gotta go.
Welcome to the heart of the bile belt. This is indeed Spew Central. At this location, secretions from the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas merge to form a duodenal delight, guaranteed to break down almost anything the stomach doesn't. The common bile duct runs up from here.
Alright, sounds like it's the right place to come if we need to dissolve something, which we do. And you're probably going to want to go right first, especially if you want to do the infinite points trick.
This is the main pancreatic duct. It appears that there's some blockage toward the tail of the pancreas. It definitely gets a bit snug. Seems to be a buildup of cholesterol arterial plaque.
You know, the spleen just doesn't matter, and I don't care about the bladder, but I really love my pancreas. It is pretty blocked, though.
Yeah, this is way too snug. This blockage needs to be cleared. Stellar's going to have to change her diet.
That is, if she can face life after having you inside her. You look at it, but nothing strikes your fancy. Don't pick at it, you'll only make it worse.
Kinda hard to imagine how. Anyway, there was a hint to this back on the compost, which you may remember from the demo. They were talking about balloon angioplasty. And we just happen to have some balloons in the form of alveoli. And now we've just got to inflate them. It's another one of those rare instances where they use a cursor for something other than the usual. I really wish they did more of that.
And here we have the Islands of Langerhans. They're a big deal here in the pancreas. Apparently, they play an important part in introducing hormones to the blood system, as well as adding an enzyme which, when joined with the bile secretion from the gallbladder, forms some kind of spew that breaks down stuff the stomach acids don't. Fats, and that kind of thing. Not only that, but some cells release insulin and others release glucagon to counter the insulin. It even offers up a bicarbonate to counteract the stomach's acid. All in all, it's a pretty strange and busy organ.
It just looks like a uvula warehouse to me.
I love the way he says that without moving his lips.
Drops of pancreatic enzymes drip from the overhanging cell units.
Alright, we're gonna need some of those enzymes, so let's catch it in the only container I've got. Once another drip forms. So walk over and catch that one.
You maneuver your helmet beneath the drip and manage to snag a nice little dollop of the stuff.
Now, you can take that enzyme back and dump it on the pill and then come back and get more as many times as you want, and you'll get points every time. I'm not going to do that because I legitimately want to see what my score ends up being. So let's just go back and get the other ingredient of that concoction Gary Owens was talking about. This looks weird.
This is the cystic duct. You are quite near where the gallbladder becomes part of the bile parade.
Oh, a parade! I love a parade! That looks menacing.
A large gallstone hangs above the entrance to the gallbladder. That wouldn't be wise. Those suckers could fall and smash you flat.
Well, that can't possibly become part of future events.
Wow, check out all that bile. Looks like her liver's been doing just fine. That's a pool of bile any liver would be proud of. You sure can't speak highly of its aroma. If I'm not mistaken, and I seldom am, that's the mucosa, or inner lining of the gallbladder. It helps make the bile even more vile by absorbing spare water content.
Alright, let's get some.
That's an interesting idea. Not a good one, but interesting nonetheless. It probably seemed like...
So it turns out this ledge we're on is really high up, and we can't reach all the way down there. So we're going to need to find a way to draw the bile up. And that's what this pump in our inventory is for, but we need a hose. So let's make use of those capillaries.
You cleverly taped the capillaries together.
No quip about being a janitor?
All the little capillaries you collected are nicely attached together with duct tape.
Alright, well let's just stick that on the pump then.
Nice work! You've hooked up your makeshift hose to the pump.
And now we pump up some bile.
You chuck one of the taped capillaries over the muscular ledge. It drops into the pool.
What's interesting is the way the helmet is empty until I start pumping. Well, at least they've got two different animations for this, depending on whether you've already got some enzymes in your helmet or not.
You give the pump a stroke or two, and in the process gather a nice helmet load of bile. I guess congratulations are in order. You've got plenty of that stuff, or did you want to take some home to Mom?
Well, we've got everything we need.
It looks vaguely like your hiney after it's been chewed out by your boss.
But they didn't bother to give it a description, so let's just go back to the stomach and see about opening up that time-release pill. That is what we came down to do all this for, of course. Well, I've certainly never seen that before.
The gallstone is wedged in the bile duct, and that's just a fine place for it.
I don't know, I don't think you'd want your bile duct blocked, really.
Nice gallstone collection.
Yep, the giant gallstone actually serves two purposes. One is to block the bile duct to make sure we can't get back to the gallbladder. Never thought I would actually say that. And the other one is to provide you with a nice little pile of stones, because stones are always useful in adventure games. And now, fortunately, it's a pretty quick trek back to the stomach.
It's one of those tiny timed release pills. You now own one of those tiny timed release pills. You now own one of those tiny timed release pills.
But of course, only one of them counts, no matter how many you pick up.
It's one of those neat little time release time pills.
What does it do?
Those are the gallstones you collected as souvenirs from Stellar's common bile duct. That's your helmet. With a...
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about the fact that it had one of the most caustic substances on the planet inside it. Good news is, we don't have to wear the helmet again. So we've got this tiny timed release pill of mystery effect. Probably makes you wake up from the Matrix or something. You know, it wouldn't have surprised me if that was the ending they were going for with this. But instead, let's just see what happens when we feed it to the tapeworm.
Impressive. The tapeworm suddenly becomes much more animated. The tapeworm is a little wired, thanks to you. He looks like he has plenty of energy. Please remember to keep your arms and legs on the worm at all times. Yow! Now that's a ride you won't take in the Magic Kingdom. That's your vermiform friend who, with a little help from organic and pharmaceutical resources, was kind enough to give you that ride along the approximately 6.5 meters or so of small intestine that lies between here and the duodenum. Egads, man, just how low have we sunk? All the way to the junction of the large and small intestines, that's how low. This also happens to be the home of the appendix.
Well, we gotta go check that out.
This is the appendix. It's a strange piece of the humanoid anatomy considered by some medical types to be fairly useless. It may not be useful, but it does seem to collect some strange stuff. It looks like an old silver amalgam filling. Must have been bouncing around here for years.
Hey, we need silver for our ship.
You pull away a cracked piece of the filling. It's a fingernail, complete with paint. These have a knack for making it down here. Suddenly, you wonder when Stellar grew such long nails. Perhaps you haven't been thinking of Stellar as a woman as much as a crewmate. You feel an interesting longing. One look at your surroundings kills that feeling fast. But maybe after this is all over.
And that's about as romantic as the game gets.
You snap off a shard of fingernail and gingerly introduce it into your pocket.
And one more useful thing.
It's a relatively unscathed paperclip.
Clippy, no!
You carefully, very carefully, stow the paperclip in your pocket.
There are a couple other things here.
How does she get this stuff into her digestive system? That's a screw Stellar probably doesn't remember. Talk about hard currency, the Buckazoid has proven itself once again. This is even one of the old-style ones. Might be worth some money. Too bad you can't carry it. You can't budget. You can't budget.
Alright, well, let's move on.
No, I think I've already done things above and beyond the call of duty. Hey, a guy has to draw the line somewhere, and gosh darn it, this guy's drawn the line right at the colon.
You've never even met her mother.
Yeah.
Alright, then let's get out of here. And we've got the silver, we got a bunch of other stuff.
So you like the worm, huh? You like to ride the worm, huh? I let you ride the worm.
And yes, that means exactly what you think it means. because it wasn't awesome enough the first time, we've got to do it again. And all we need to do now is get back to the ship. I realize a lot of you are probably going to be pissed at me for not editing this out, but I'll save you, what, like 30 seconds on a 40-minute video? And you really got to understand just how far we went through for the net effect of basically getting a big chunk of silver and a couple of items that, for the most part, I think are even interchangeable. This is the worst part because you gotta keep clicking. You're only moving up about an inch each time you click. I absolutely hate that sound. Alright, so let's stick this chunk of solid silver into the fuel tank somehow. And hop back in the ship.
Your stolen miniaturized...
This heat tile looks loose. Whoops. I have to stop doing that.
Alright, so just... guess I gotta unlock it.
I probably don't need to set the alarm.
No, I just have to click the hand on the right spot.
This heat... Whoops. This... Whoop. This... Whoops.
Come on!
This...
Where's
Whoops.
the door?
Whoops.
Your stolen... That little thing? That's the stolen miniaturized door to your stolen miniaturized shuttle. Good eyesight. Now we'll have to do one of those puzzles where you have to find a 1-pixel coin or something. But hey, who'd design a mean, unfair puzzle like that?
Yeah, precision clicking definitely isn't in this game's MO.
You neatly replace the EVA suit in its proper place.
And I do want to try on that helmet.
It just doesn't work that way.
Reminds me a bit of Goblins
As
2.
cool as it... That's an It would appear...
I can't put the helmet back in, so I'll just carry it for the rest of the game, even though there's nothing to do with it. And everything should be good, so let's go ahead and stick the disc back in the slot and get going. Yep, the dot in the stomach has gone gray. There's no nanites left there, so let's just head to the brain. And after that long trip, I'm sure we're not going to need to take the EVA suit right back out of the closet.
It's pretty...
But we do. So many of the things you gotta do in this game are just so repetitive for no reason.
This is the meninges. It's a 3-layer cover for the brain. Check out the cool blood vessels. It's the old gray matter itself, our friend, the brain. At least some of us are familiar with it. I don't remember seeing you at the meetings. For some reason, you're drawing a complete blank on information regarding the brain. It's pretty tough. It manages to resist your manly efforts.
Yeah, we're gonna need a suitable cutting tool.
You slice away with the nail, and amazingly enough, manage to cut a slice in the barrier.
I'm sure that's not gonna hurt Stellar at all. Walking along a brain.
Yikes. How am I supposed to jump across this one?
Running start. And you can't fall back in as far as I know. You just click anywhere 3 times and it'll climb back up.
Man, that was close.
And you can cross back and forth as many times as you need to.
Holy captain's log, Batman. There are a few more of those nanites here. How am I going to handle this one?
Walk on up there if you want to touch them. Your utterances fall on uninterested oral organs.
Well, let's just walk on up.
So close, and yet so far away. How embarrassing to get wasted by the Laurel and Hardy of nanites.
What do you think we should do, Ollie?
Nice mood lighting.
Well, let's throw the only weapon we've got at them.
I don't think I can hit them from here.
But of course, you need to stand on a spot that doesn't even look safe. There we go.
You chuck a gallstone at one of the robots, causing it to think the other one did it.
Oh, cool. Maybe we can get them to beat each other up.
So close, and yet...
Alright, we all know the trick here.
You chuck a gallstone at one of the robots, causing it to think the other one did it. You chuck another gallstone, this time at the other robot, who also thinks the other one did it.
And now, back to the first guy.
That was quite effective. That was very impressive, Roger. I'll bet that's not something you hear every decade. The self-deactivated nanites now pose no threat.
Well, now that we're done with them, let's see what they were guarding.
It's an elevator built by the nanites to help gain access to the interior of the brain. Yuck!
And this part's pretty cool. We've actually got some controls, but all we really need to do is get to the bottom of the shaft.
A huge pile of debris is standing in front of what appears to be some sort of passage. Light pours through the opening.
And can we squeeze past it?
This is strange looking. Used pieces of nanite hardware as well as some stuff that looks vaguely like mining equipment litter the area. Your effort to move it is futile. This would be a challenge for you even if you were full-size.
Yep, can't move it.
A huge pile.
So back up we go. Clearly, we have to do something in the shaft or they wouldn't have given us these controls. So let's see what there is around. little signs.
Oh, this is her Choice of Men Center. It looks a little odd.
Indeed it is. Maybe we can poke it and make something happen.
As cool as it would.
Interesting. The sign says this is Stellar's Cough Control Center.
Well, a cough would help get at that debris. Well, good enough.
This sign says this is her Pleasure Center. This sign says this is...
Oh, we definitely gotta poke that.
As cool as it.
Nah.
So this is the Motor Control Center.
Don't want to screw with that one. And... oops. Shouldn't take too long to go back to the bottom, though. And like I said, I think you can interchange the paperclip and the nail of this part. Use either one to accomplish the task of the other. But I've never really tried it, so who cares?
A huge pile of debris is standing in front.
Alright, but I should be able to squeeze past. Somehow. Oh, I have to use my hand to go through the passage. Of course!
Ugh! Ah! Even in this suit, that hurts like a... Jeez. What's going on here? And what's with that big robot?
Well, well, Mr. Wilco. I must confess to being impressed that you made it this far. You are either a very lucky man, or the classic case of how looks can be deceiving. From what I know of your history, I can't say that in this case looks are necessarily deceiving. On the other hand, I don't think luck accounts for it all either. There's definitely something different about you, Mr. Wilco. It's a pity, though. I'm afraid this is where the odds catch up with you, Roger. I do hope you don't mind me referring to you as Roger. I feel we can both be on a first-name basis now, since we will soon be sharing such intimate moments. My rebirth and your death. Not necessarily in that order. I'll attend to you in a moment. I have a few more little details to finish before I transfer my consciousness into this body. Enjoy it, Roger. It'll be among the very last of your memories. Oh, and by the way, escape attempts will prove to be futile. You will be incinerated if necessary.
Jeez, what a bit...
I'm sorry. What was that you were saying?
Me? I was saying, what a bite. Yeah, I had a little trouble with some parasites a while ago down in the digestive tract. That's all it was.
Jeez, how much longer could they talk about unfunny stuff?
The sight of the claws mounted on the turret make you wish you were wearing a Depends undergarment. That wouldn't prove fulfilling. Your utterances fall on... It's a piece of mining equipment. She's been digging around in the cortex. That wouldn't prove... That would... Use some...
Yeah, guess she wasn't kidding about escape being a futile thing. Hey, you could hurt me doing that.
And what's that electricity arcing behind him?
It looks like a bundle of nerves with electrical current through them.
I've got this bundle of nerves. I wonder what I can use to make this into something.
Obviously something that conducts electricity. Electricity does not work that way.
Wow, that was actually a great idea. Go figure.
Yeah, I kicked her butt. Just look at me. MacGyver wishes he could be me. It was bound to happen. The never-ending battle between good and evil was once again waged. And once again, good has emerged victorious. Yes, and with me on its side, how could it lose? Yes, once again, I have struck a blow for good over evil. It was Hey! Ah! What? But I thought I took care of you.
Well, it appears you thought wrong now, doesn't it, Roger? Wilco, I haven't survived this long without taking precautions. The robot was just hardware. My mind still exists.
Oh, real wonderful. Ooh! Ah! Hey, watch those tentacles, lady. I thought that being partially embedded in the street on polysorbate was a strange feeling. My, she has a different look now. I don't know which I like better.
That's delightfully non-helpful. That's delightfully... Hey, don't put your mouth on that. Cool. A chance to check out your own digestive tract.
Thanks, I think I've seen enough of those for a while. So we don't have a lot of time to react here. Let's use that item that's been following me around for the whole freaking game.
Fish, that's brain food.
All right. She actually chowed down on that rancid fish. I thought I'd never get rid of that fish.
And that anticlimax brings us to the end of the game, and I've got 1 point over the maximum somehow or other. Obviously from when I was dealing with that endo droid back on polysorbate. Anyway, you guys enjoy the ending cutscenes, and I'll be back for the credits at the end.
Nice shot.
Oh, there you are, Wilco.
Boy, Stellar, with all that's happened recently, I never would have imagined that we'd be standing here together.
It is a miracle, Roger. I was afraid that by the time you got my message, it would be too late. I was certain I was doomed. But you didn't let me down. What you did was incredibly brave, Roger, not to mention intensely risky. It took Dr. Bellows a lot of work to clean up after you and Sharpei. I must say, Roger, there's not a man in the universe who knows me inside the way you do.
It was a strange feeling, but I went in there all business. There wasn't a moment I wasn't thinking of your welfare.
Oh, give me a break. Let me put my boots on. It's getting deep in here.
Cheese it, pal, or I'll rip out your larynx and you won't be able to get a job doing bad voiceover work for Chinese action pictures.
What did you say, Roger?
Oh, I was just mumbling to myself. You know, Stellar, there's one thing I noticed while inside you I thought I might share.
And what's that, Roger?
You eat like a goat. You really have to change your eating habits, Stellar. I saw some things in your digestive tract I wouldn't wish on Sludge Vohall. You really have to clean up your consumption act.
Yes, I know. Dr. Bellows said he was able to fix most everything done to me during Sharpei's invasion, as well as patching an ulcer that was playing havoc with my stomach. He told me the same things.
You might also try chewing. You had a hunk of Twinkoid wedged in your throat that would have gagged Linda Lovelace.
Okay, Roger, okay, I got the message. Let's change the subject, shall we? Ask me where I'm stationed next.
Why don't you just tell me?
Boy, some fun you are.
Sorry, I guess I'm a little grumpy. I had a real day. I had to clean the captain's log entry container. Then somebody got a nice buzz in 8 Rear and decided to take a wormhole ride in the Hollows suite. They hit a few wrong buttons, and the next thing I know, I'm cleaning Virgon Nebula sets and hors d'oeuvres off every wall and ceiling. Apparently, they truly did make the room spin. Boy, they spackled everything. Had to use the putty knife to chip loose some of the chunks of...
Roger, I'm sorry you had a rough day, but can we please change the subject?
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I think you're gonna like your next assignment.
Really? What is it? Where is it?
Sorry, you're just gonna have to wait to find out.
And we never do. That's it. That's all of Space Quest. And the deep ship trundles off into deep space for one final time. Maybe it's a good thing we never got any more Space Quest. Maybe it's not. But they sure left plenty of plot hooks.
As Roger and Stellar warp off into the nebula set, many questions remain. Will Roger and Stellar become an item? How will Beatrice Wankmeister react when she hears about this new friend in Roger's life? Will Roger's voice be a few octaves higher as a result? Would they dare to make another one of these things? Only time and money will tell.
I've been up to my lips in urinal pucks lately. I hope it's something different.
I think it's kind of nice that they actually have Roger say stuff over the ending credits, so you're not just sitting here watching credits. There's actually some entertainment left.
Who wrote this crap? Oh, yeah, Scott. Yeah, well, yeah, then good work.
And Josh, but they like to pretend he wasn't there. Anyway, that was Space Quest 6, a complete anticlimax of an ending. Didn't really explain anything, made the story a lot more complicated than it needed to be, and really I just don't think there was anything much interesting about it. Except for poking around the deep ship and getting to explore some of the cool stuff.
Did you hear about the animator who killed himself? Yeah, he couldn't draw his own breath.
And like a lot of people have said, the graphics kind of seemed like a step down after Space Quest 5. But, you know, it is what it is. It was part of the series, and fortunately they actually never got around to finishing that 3D adaptation they were looking at.
These, by the way, are the credits. They're called credits because, well, we can't afford to really pay anybody until more people buy the game.
You know, I don't even know how many people actually bought the game. I guess none of their sales were doing quite as well as they wanted, since This is around the time they stopped making games. It's not a good way to go out, I'm afraid. I want to talk, because I know there's one more thing he says.
All these people worked on this dumb game?
Yeah, not particularly funny. I think we're almost at the end, though. We're coming up to the voice actors. And that's pretty much the end of it all. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who stuck with the LP all the way through. Remember, there is going to be one more video covering a lot of the stuff that I missed in the main videos. And possibly the credits, or I might push those off to a later video. I think Roger Jackson only played that tiny part of the hotel manager. Carol Baki Rita played almost every female in the game. And I'm not going to play the Soylent Clear jingle again. I figure everybody's probably got it memorized by now. Yep, it just kind of keeps going on and on.
Thank you, bye-bye. 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 That's it, bye-bye. No more, bye-bye. That's it, all finished, bye-bye. 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 Farewell. Farewell. Bye-bye, bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, this is it, the last time. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank you for playing Space Quest 6. This is Gary Owens, signing off.
And at the end, they always give you a little message when you quit out to DOS. I haven't shown many of them, but figured I'd leave this one in there. So come back for the final video of the LP, and I'll see you guys then.